Welcome to the Kevin Cook Show. And now, here's Kevin.
Well, howdy, folks. K-Dog here. Thought I'd start just come on here today to do another podcast, I guess, or the Kevin Cook Show. And, I can't remember what I talked about last time. I think I talked about Star Wars last time. And, how Disney had purchased Lucasfilm and talk about the possibilities and all that kind of stuff. Today is going to be a little bit more technical, and this because, I stumbled upon a YouTube video. It was actually a video version of a podcast that this one particular user was... he had on. He talked about digital copy versus physical copy, and I think I'm going to come on here and say why a physical copy is the best way to go. And the reason why this is brought up is because there seems to be a group of people, which is in the general public, I guess. Not I guess, but it is. But the whole thing with the cloud has taken effect, and of course, digital streaming of content over the internet to television or computer devices and cell phones. Well, I will say that I'm in favor of owning a physical copy of a project on a disc format of some sort. DVD, Blu-ray, that's it. And even music on CD, I would prefer that over MP3. Even though I do a lot of work, I have done a lot of work with, web files, things like that, and streaming video, and of course the MP3 and WAV formats. But there seems to be this confusion that people are bringing upon themselves, that just because it's portable, it's a better quality. Not true at all. And the cloud has taken over, and you think about this, that you can stream so much, and including movies, over the internet now. And they're thinking that this is going to replace digital, a physical format of some sort. It may. I don't want to go there personally, but it may within 10 years. I don't see it all of a sudden replacing DVDs or Blu-rays. DVD is getting phased out, folks. Blu-ray is the big disc format, but I was listening to some show, they were talking about, how DVD is getting phased out and Blu-ray, and that there was somebody saying, well, why should I upgrade to Blu-ray, because that's just going to get phased out too, and it's probably going to get phased out real soon. And even these guys who were professional tech, this was a professional tech show, and they said, go ahead and upgrade to Blu-ray. They said, if you're using a streaming service like iTunes or Netflix or anything like that, they said, go with Blu-ray. Blu-ray is still better quality over those streaming services, even though they offer 1080p full resolution. They said, still go with the Blu-ray, and even with time, they don't see Blu-ray getting phased out within they don't see Blu-ray getting phased out until about 10 years. 10 years, that's quite a while. And so, you think about, 2022, we would probably be looking at a different format. But right now, I would say go to Blu-ray because it provides the best quality. Now, that being said, if I purchase a movie that has the digital copy, I do cash that in because I'm paying for it. I want to use it. But if I want to watch the best quality possible of a movie or TV show, blah, 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 I want the physical copy. I want the DVD. I want the Blu-ray as opposed to the streaming services. Because this particular podcast I listened to, it was amateur, but they're very well informed. They know what they're talking about, so it is legitimate. And one of the things they brought up is the whole issue of licensing. The content has to be licensed in order for it to be streamed. Now, if you notice, like when you buy a digital copy of a movie, even if it comes on the disc, they say you have to cash it in by such and such time. The long expired. And that file may still be on your computer once you use it, but they have every right to deny you the ability to play that file. The file will still be on your computer, but they can rip the licensing and say, nope, you can't watch this anymore on your hard drive or anything like that. You can't do it anymore. So they'll pull that license or pull that code, and you won't be able to watch it at all. It'll come up as error and saying, such and such player does not recognize it. But that's what could happen. And the other thing is things like Ultraviolet and Vudu and Netflix and all these sites where you can stream content over the internet. You can watch it from anywhere, anytime. Don't let that stuff fool you. I myself do have a Ultraviolet and Flickster account, but it is not as user friendly as they advertise it to be. I'll give you a couple examples. Sony Pictures also uses Ultraviolet. Ultraviolet was something that was created by Warner Brothers. It's their licensing and things like that. So every Warner Brothers movie that gets released now will have a Ultraviolet copy. The no-brainer. But Sony also uses Ultraviolet. But here's the kicker. With the Warner Brothers titles, you can watch it on Flickster, you can watch it on Vudu, and you have all those linked up. You can watch it anywhere that you want to. Sony, you cannot. Sony, you have to download a player to your device in order to watch the content. Now tell me if that's not messed up. I mean, seriously, you have to download. I have a couple of titles that I purchased through Sony Pictures using the Ultraviolet, and I had to download the app in order to play them. I mean, come on, that's crazy. Another thing is, I'll give you another example how good Ultraviolet is, really, is they just recently, for a while, Paramount was releasing their movies with Ultraviolet copy as well. But again, you had to go to Paramount's website in order to view them. It was not available through Flickster or anything else. You had to go to Paramount Pictures' website and set up an account there in order to watch the Paramount copies. Now, the Warner Brothers titles, no problem. Universal titles, no problem. They had all that settled. And just now, Paramount is available through Flickster and Vudu and all that stuff. You can watch them on Flickster now, but you couldn't when they first came out, and they were offering the content already. So, don't think it's as perfect as what you think it is. If that makes any sense at all. It's not as user-friendly as they have advertised it to be. It's only certain devices that you can do, only certain websites, and it depends on who they have a relationship, which studio, who they have a relationship with. It's because Warner Brothers is owning the ultraviolet content, but not every studio is using it. I mean, you're not going to see Disney on there anytime soon. I guarantee you that. As a matter of fact, Disney was running their own service, and I got a notice through the email because I do have an account there that you can, stream all these different movies by Disney on the website, and I got a notice by email and by mail notice that website was getting shut down. So it's messed up. Now, like I said, I do use the digital copies that come with the actual physical copy. I cash them in because I'm paying for them. And again, they're not as user friendly. And if you have, example, I've set them up to where, the digital copies I set up through Windows Media. And there was just something about iTunes I didn't really like. I do have a few that are on iTunes, but here's the thing. They were iTunes only movies. Blame that on Lionsgate Entertainment. I don't know why they just set it up through iTunes. It's stupid. But anyway, I set it up through Windows Media, thinking that if I got a Windows Media device such as the Zune, I would be able to sync it to the Zune and watch it on this portable device. No. However, with iTunes, you can sync it to the iPod or the iPhone or whatever that, and that's a bunch of crap. But I did manage to find a piece of software. I had to purchase it that bypasses the digital rights management and transfers it to a codec that my cell phone reads, which I have an Android phone, and so what this does is just basically transfers, it bypasses the digital rights management code that prevents it from getting stolen, and it syncs it right to my phone. Well, here's the problem with that software. Sometimes the audio is out of sync, and it's very troublesome to transfer it to that format. Now, I have those files backed up onto my computer, those transferred files, but sometimes during the conversion process, sometimes the audio is out of sync, and I end up throwing them away, and it's just real frustrating to deal with. But there was something else I wanted to talk about on digital copy. Oh, yeah. The big one is the quality. Even though they, something like Netflix and iTunes, which stream the content in 1080p HD quality. Well, get this, folks. Even though it is in 1080p, it's not as good as a actual physical copy. I mean, if you were to pull it out and look at them side by side in comparison, the Blu-ray will still top streaming devices, regardless of the 1080p. Just because something is 1080p, you can have a lower bit rate. It can still be 1080p, but at a lower bit rate. If you know anything about computers or anything about like that, you would know the difference. Because that 1080p image, yes, it's 1080p, but it's compressed like you wouldn't believe. While the actual disc is uncompressed. It's going to give you the full video quality. Whatever they've mastered it in. So, I have big issues. Even though I do use it a little bit, I still have big issues with the streaming services and all that crap. They don't, and the cloud, I think, is a big joke. The fact that we're doing away with discs altogether, hard drives, and all that stuff, it's a bunch of crap. I raised some questions. We had a meeting because we're in the process of upgrading at our church, upgrading our sound systems and stuff like that to full digital stuff, and we're getting rid of a lot of the standard definition TVs and projectors and stuff like that. We're getting rid of it. And one of the things they were talking about was storing files in the cloud. Well, I raised the question of, well, here's the problem. I said, you guys, that all sounds well and good, not storing it on a physical hard drive and cluttering space. But I said, what about security? Have you guys ever thought about that? Yeah, someone can hack into your hard drive. But here, it's easier. If something's floating around on the internet, it's easier to get a hold of if it's just floating around on the internet and not on a hard drive. While on a hard drive, if there's someone that wants to hack in, well, there's measures you can take to prevent that. You can disconnect from the internet. You can unplug your computer. If it's in the cloud, you can't do that. Of course, the trick is to find out when this person is hacking into your file or your hard drive. You wouldn't know it, but still, you can take preventative measures. Like say if you're done with your computer for the night, unplug it. Disconnect it for a while. I raised some big questions over the cloud, because think about this. If they can hack into a major network like Sony, they certainly can get into the cloud. But anyway, that's what I wanted to talk about today. Some of the streaming services and all the digital copies, and trust me, folks, the hard disk format, like actually owning a copy on DVD or Blu-ray, is not going to go away anytime soon. It's still going to be around for a while. At least another 10 years. And think about this. It's better. Think about this. You cannot get the complete packaging with a DVD. And you may say, well, they're just cluttering up your shelf space and all that, blah, 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 blah. And why would you want to store all that stuff that collects dust and blah, 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 blah. The whole same song and dance. Because there's something special about going out to a store and actually purchasing something that you can hold in your hand. You can look at cover art. You can look at the designs. You can actually get commemorative packaging, and that's exclusive. My goodness, look what happened with the Hunger Games and E.T. when they came out on Blu-ray. There were so many different stores offering different versions and different packaging. Best Buy had that huge box set of the Hunger Games, and also they had a steel book. And with E.T., there was multiple editions that you could get. There was one at Walmart that had the stuffed toy in it. There was an Amazon exclusive which had the spaceship. There was Best Buy had a Digibook, and Target had a Steelbook. There was multiple versions, and you can't get that from a streaming service. I'm sorry, but you can't. Call me old-fashioned. I like to go out to a store, actually hand the money over, and hold the thing in my hand. You can't do that with streaming services. That's my little rambling today. That's what I wanted to talk about because, that's where everything's headed. And just because it's portable does not mean it's the best quality. I mean, another example would be, why is everyone think MP3 is the best quality? Why? MP3 is not the best quality. It's just a matter of people that are dumb. They don't know what to listen for. I mean, you compare a CD to an MP3, it's night and day. Because people don't know what they're listening for. But yeah, I don't know. It's just, people are so, I don't want to say people are stupid, because there are some stupid people, but they're just people that are not informed. I guess that's the proper way to say it. The majority of people that do this complaining, they're just not informed, and they don't know a lot of stuff about, with guys like me that come from broadcasting degrees that actually know a little bit about audio and video and how it all works and all that different stuff. We know how, video and audio works, both analog and digital. So we know we can compare to what's good, what's bad, and we can tell you what to listen for and how to avoid that and get the bang for your buck. But yeah, I've tried to sign off about 3 times and then something else would come up. Well, I think I'm actually going to sign off. This is K-Dog saying see you later. And be sure to check out my other show, K-Dog's Country. And, even if you don't like country music, keep tuning to this show. I do stuff for different things. And, I'm a multimedia guy. And, I have something for everybody. So just keep tuning in and taking a listen. But until then, see you later.